Hi everyone, this is Lizzie, and today I'm going to share with you how to make this cute pirate themed card that includes a fun slider element. So I'll be using the new Ahoy Matey stamp set, which includes all of these great pirate themed images, and I'm going to do the coloring of my images first to make this card. So I have my Misty stamping tool, and I have some black lawnfawn ink, which is a Copic friendly ink. It's the jet black ink. And I'm just going to stamp my images a couple times to make sure I get a nice, really good, crisp black impression. And I think I stamp it just a few times. And then I needed one more palm tree to stamp. So that will finish all of the images that I need for the card. So now that the images are all stamped out, I'm going to go ahead and color them in. I'll be using Copic markers, and I've listed the colors at the top of the screen in case you're interested. When I have multiple images on a card, I like to use the same colors over and over. So for example, I'm using these three colors of brown, 3 markers of brown to color in all of the brown elements on the card, the palm trees, the treasure chest, the ship. And that just helps the card look a little bit more cohesive when there's a lot of elements on it. So I think that's a great tip in terms of making your card look a little bit more cohesive. So you'll notice that I am using the same colors over and over again on multiple images. So I'll finish coloring all of the images in, and then we will work on assembling the card. And now that everything's colored in, I'm going to go ahead and use the coordinating dies and die cut out all of the images. I love how the dies give a nice professional white edge. Gives a nice finishing look for the images. So now I'm going to get started on working on the other elements of the card. So I have some watercolor wishes pattern paper, and I'm going to be cutting the sky out and then waves from these two green pieces. And then I'm going to use one of these stitched hillside border dies and die cut some sand for my card out of some craft cardstock. So you can see how everything is going to layer together. And before I assemble anything, I'm going to go ahead and work on the slider element of the card. So I've taken the two waves and I've just tape them together so that they will essentially be in the same spot where they're going to be all glued together, and then I die cut that slide on over die. And you can see I saved that interior piece from the light colored wave, which I am going to adhere down flat to the card base, and I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm using some tape runner to adhere the clouds on as well as the sand. And then I will adhere my two waves together. Now eventually I'll be putting the waves up on some double foam tape in order to make the slider element work, but to make sure that the wave looks like it's a full wave without any sand peeking through, I save that interior piece and I'm going to use some liquid glue, and then that is going to go flat onto the card base. So once that is flat, I'm going to remove the waves and the tape that's holding it together, and then I'm going to use some double-sided foam tape and go ahead and place that around the slider element, just making sure that my penny slider will still move freely within the card even with the foam tape. So I will adhere that down, and then I'm going to be using a powder tool just to make sure there's no stickiness in that slider track, to make sure the penny slides really well. And then I'll be using another piece of double foam tape to adhere the ship down. Now I totally forgot to do this before I adhered the waves down to the card base, but I wanted to use the New Push Here stamp set, which includes a lot of great instructive sentiments so that your recipient knows what to do with these interactive cards. So thankfully it worked out okay. I stamped with some Manatee ink the Slide Me and the little arrow, and I think it just gives a cute little whimsical look as well to the card. So now I'm going to work on adhering the rest of the elements to the card. I just used some liquid glue for the palm trees and using some foam tape to adhere the treasure chest, the little pirate, and the parrot. So now I'm going to work on the sentiment piece of the card. There was no room on the front, so I thought I would stamp it on the inside. And I'm using a couple phrases from the Ahoy Matey stamp set. Ahoy Matey, of course, and then the You Are Awesome, which I think is so cute. And I used some black licorice ink to stamp that. And then the comma I just hand stamped with an acrylic block. So this is the finished card. I think it's really cute. I love the slider element. It, I think, gives a lot of whimsy to the card. And you can see the inside with the fun sentiment and the outside. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!